What's shakin' bacons? Today's video is going to be hopefully a kind of quick one, and that's because I didn't want to miss a weekend of uploading, especially because my company is sending me on travel next week, so I'm not going to be able to see any movies or make any videos next week. And this is the first video I've been able to make this week because I hurt myself pretty badly last week, and I've been largely immobilized. So I'm on a lot of medication. You're gonna have to forgive how messy I look today because I can't get my arm like it's not gonna happen. So but I wanted to make sure that I did a video, and I thought what better to talk about than the movie I got to watch while I was laying on the couch, and I wasn't able to see it in theaters this year, and that is Upgrade. I definitely see why people are saying Upgrade is the Venom movie that we should have had, but I don't fully agree with that, and I'll explain why. There's a lot of similarities, like right off the bat. I kind of feel like somebody went to the studio and said, I have an idea for a movie. It's Venom with AI. And the studio exec was like, tell me more. Before I really go into this, there's gonna be spoilers here, so scooch if you don't want to get spoiled. Honestly, watching Upgrade, it felt like I was watching the artificial intelligence version of Venom. There's very similar elements in the stories. Both of them lose their love interest in one way or the other. There's a lot of useless drones and technology that appears in each of these things. They're both going up against the genius heads of giant corporations, or at least that's what you think. Both films were very humorous in their own way without being over the top. I already talked about how amused I was watching Venom. When I was watching Upgrade, I have to say, by far the funniest moment is when he's just smashing plates on that guy's head when the AI has control of his body, and he's like, oh god, I'm so sorry, oh god, man, stay down. But it wasn't too funny. They did a good job of straddling the line in both of these films of having some funny moments so that you're not just bogged down in darkness, but just enough. Both of them actually took a lot of care to address plot holes. Both of them, of course, I think this is the obvious one, I'm not even sure I have to say it, both of them involve a human becoming a host for another entity other than themselves, and how they cope with that and what happens to them. And that's really where the main differences start to come in. You've got Eddie, who ends up learning how to interact with Venom. He starts to embrace it, understands the power that he can have. He realizes he can work with Venom. He convinces Venom that they need to act a certain way. You know, if you're going to eat people, you got to eat bad people. Like, you and I got to groove with this, man. You know, we can't just be button heads all the time. In Upgrade, you find a similar situation in which you have the human host taking on the parasite. Difference being, Eddie didn't choose it at first, whereas Gray did choose this. And then in the end attempts to stop the AI from controlling his body. And that's where you have a difference where Eddie and Venom bond closer together, and the AI just breaks Gray's mind. And it's funny because in the end, in some ways, they are both reunited with the love that they lost in the beginning. Upgrade is definitely way more gory than Venom. With that said, it wasn't that much more gory. I was expecting a lot more violence, honestly, than what they had in the film, which maybe that means I'm pretty jaded somehow, but I was expecting more violence than there was. You just see a little bit more fleshy bits flying around than you do when you watch Venom. I do think that Venom's overall story concept was better than Upgrade. The problem with Upgrade is that the story ended up being very predictable. And I will also say what Venom did better is the high-speed chase. When I watched Upgrade's high-speed chase, I couldn't stop laughing because it was the most boring car chase I have ever seen, ever. The most boring. But where Upgrade really shines makes you understand that the body has been subsumed by the parasite or by the chip. So when STEM takes over the body for Gray, the camera work and the angles that they use are just amazing. It's almost like a third-person video game camera where he moves so perfectly that you can tell that it is not the natural man controlling his body. You can tell it is another entity. If they had brought that camera style and then that action framework where you see him just moving his muscles and articulating his body in a way that is not normal or is not usually normal for a human into Venom, it would have been incredible. And that's really what I took away as the best thing from the Upgrade film. Yes, the plot wasn't that great. The characters were kind of stereotypical, but really Upgrade shone brightest in its portrayal of Gray's body being taken over. And I sincerely wish they had done that with Venom. If they had just translated that camera style to Venom, it would have elevated the film so much more than I think it was. I was very, very impressed. Do I think that we should treat Upgrade as the Venom movie? No, I don't. While I really enjoyed the cinematography and how they portrayed the takeover of the human body in the Upgrade film, I don't think that it is the same as a Venom movie. You have a lot of parallels, you have a lot of similar setups, and in fact, when I was watching it, I was like, wow, that is a lot like Venom. But it lacks the basic plot and the wealth of character rounding that Venom can draw upon. What I will agree with is if these two could merge, we would have a hell of a movie. For me, Upgrade got a 52% on my movie rating scale. This is not intended to be a full review. This movie has already come out in the past, but I just wanted to talk about the similarities and the differences between it and between Venom. There's been so many parallels drawn between the two. If I've missed anything, you guys tell me below. Did you see Upgrade and Venom? Do you think one of these is better than the other? I personally still like Venom better, although I do really admire how skillfully the cinematography was handled in Upgrade. Let me know what you think. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Catch you later.